Absolutely. Even in a relationship, you find a lot of men. You ask a woman, asks a man, "Well, how do you feel about me?" And he would dance around that issue and not in order not to have to answer that question.
Why do you think that is?
Well, once again, it goes back to the stigma of what a man is supposed to be, and it's not necessarily truth. In the coaching world, we refer to that as limited beliefs.
That's powerful.
Thanks for tuning in to the Sisters Talk podcast. I'm your host, Danny M., and today I have special guest, Mr. Baseem Aziz. Thank you so much for gracing the stage today.
Well, thank you for inviting me, Danielle. It's such an honor.
Definitely. For those who don't know who Mr. Baseem is, he is a life coach. He came onto the show last year, and for those who tuned in earlier, there was a small clip that was ran just a minute ago. We were talking about what it means to be a man, and Baseem, you always drop gems. You always tell the truth. You're very brutally honest. That's why I had to have you back on the show today.
I greatly appreciate, try to do my best to keep it real.
Yeah.
That word is very loose nowadays. A lot of people say keep it real and it don't come out right.
That's right.
So we like, deal with your truth. A lot of people don't want to deal with their truth. And
yeah, all the time. It's hard to deal with truth, when we're really honest with each other. You're a life coach, I'm a relationship coach. We both hear a lot of different complex stories, and it really can be hurtful, right? To keep it real at times.
Yes, well, it's definitely hurtful because a lot of time people are suppressing their real feelings and they running away from their truth. In order for you to solve anything, you have to actually embrace your truth.
Most
Like I
definitely.
tell a lot of my trauma victim clients, until you're ready to embrace what you went through, we can't move forward.
Yeah, that's right. And
Because
for everybody who's oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
a lot of them continue to be stuck in that nightmare that they went through or that they're still living. So I call it trauma recovery because it's just like an alcoholic. You still got to deal with it regardless to what you. It's not like it's gonna go nowhere. So you have to find a way to coexist with it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's hardcore facts right there. And but like it's easier said than done. And what I was gonna say earlier is that for everybody who's tuned in, make sure you not only like and comment, but share this video. There's gonna be a lot of raw, unfiltered truth going on in this session today, as it always should be. We're gonna talk about a lot of stuff that's been going on in the news, in the celebrity world, and also what's affecting our community directly. So if you're tuned in, make sure you like, comment, and share. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. You see the streamer streaming below. It's just youtube.com/Sisters Talk Podcast, all one word. And make sure that you support Mr. Baseem. That's also his website as well. So let's get back to it. Now, behind the scenes, we probably should have recorded that. I need to start recording the behind the scenes footage because that was such a great conversation that we were having.
Well, let's pick it up.
Let's do that. So let's see. Where do we want to start first, man? It's just been so much going on in Hollywood. So let's address, the thing that nobody wants to talk about anymore is this Will Smith slap. Right.
Well,
so
I think he found it to be amusing what Chris Rock was saying until he looked at his wife's face, and she gave him a look like okay, and he felt compelled that he needed to do something. And he should have checked his wife and said it was a joke. That's what he should have did. Or it was something he could have said after the show. But
I've had so many mixed reviews on this. I've had so many people who have become angry, like, oh no, Chris Rock, he deserved this slap. And then on the other end of things, I have people that are saying, no, that's assault. He should have been arrested the same moment it happened.
Well, if he would have put his hands on another man like that, Chris Rock has been known to like take some shorts back in the day anyway. But had he put it on another comedian, it would have been a different outcome. Because if he would have smacked me, I would have put hands on
I think most people would, and I don't think
you
that's the
know.
thing that people are thinking about. So, for instance, let's see if we can play this clip. Give me just a moment here. Let's see if it'll allow me to do it. I'm probably gonna have to remove us. Give me a moment.
Because see, this is going to be out there for perpetuity. But also would have been out there for perpetuity. I'd have come up out that tux. I'd have whipped Will Smith's ass.
I know you.
I would have whipped, he'd have had to whip me or I'd have had to whip him. And every time I see him, it's on sight. Because see, this is going to be out there for perpetuity.
So yeah, you can see that he was super passionate and meant what he said. What's your take on
Absolutely,
that?
because I'm Muslim. As Muslim, you smack me, I'm smacking you back. You know, we not gonna play them type of games.
Right.
You know, I made a joke. I didn't touch your wife. I made a joke. If you
Well, hold on
offended,
now. Here's the thing with women. A lot of women that I noticed, they were saying that, well, he threatened his wife. What's considered a threat? A joke is a threat.
what, is she bald headed? I mean,
But
did
let's
he?
take that a little bit further. He said G.I. Jane 2. Well, anybody who has seen G.I. Jane, so she's not only did she have short hair, and she
Right.
looked very good with her short hair, but
Yes,
she
she
also
did.
had an entanglement on that movie. So I think it was a double-sided joke, and maybe Will Smith caught all of that. Who knows? Either
No,
way, I
no.
personally feel it's never okay to put your hands on somebody because of what they said to you.
Well, I don't think he caught the joke because he was entertained by the joke. She may have caught the joke.
Good point.
You know. And did she have an entanglement? Absolutely. She put it out there for the world to know she had an entanglement.
Mm.
You know, how could you be upset of something that you put out on national TV on your little show, The Red Table? Oh, well, this is how this went down. And your husband sat there and he ate it.
Yeah. It's easy to see who's wearing the pants in that relationship, and it's also easy to see the amount of stress that Will Smith has been under, probably all the entire marriage, if we just want to be honest. Now, we don't have any facts, and I'm not passing judgment. I'm only stating my opinion here.
Right. These are
What's your
definitely
take on
opinions.
this as a life coach? Give me the truth about it.
Well, I believe Will Smith is pretty much exhausted with the whole Hollywood lifestyle. You know, I think he's ready to ride off into the sunset and actually have some peace of life
Yeah.
and take time out to get to know himself again because I think he lost himself.
Oh yeah, I
So
100% agree.
I
Yes.
think it's really like time where, he reconnects with his inner self. So he needs to pull back a lot of layers because I'm
Yeah.
sure there's a lot of things that went on that we will never know. And that's
I'm
the
pretty
only
sure
way
a
he
lot
can
of people
reconnect
will
with
know
himself.
because of Jada. Here's my thing, right? Especially as women, we have to be careful about who we tell our business to. If you have platforms, you shouldn't. You definitely it's not smart to be shelling out all of your information about your relationship when things are up or down because it's simply none of our business. And so, therefore, in my opinion, when you do that, when you give people information like that about your sex life, about your health conditions. I mean, the list just goes on. All these things are to me are considered private. And the
They are.
moment that you open up that door for people to come in and say what they need to say about it, then you don't have the option to get upset about it. You can get upset. Actually, let me correct that. But you don't have the right to put your hands on somebody because they're literally doing their job. Chris Rock was doing his job on the Oscars. And Will Smith not only destroyed Chris Rock's moment, but he destroyed the moments of other great black actors and actresses and musicians that night who received awards. And that's the part that
Absolutely.
people aren't really talking about.
Well, we live in a world that focus on drama. So once the drama kicked in, everything else was like, push that to the side. We need to focus on this. Let's blow this up. Like I said, that happened weeks ago, and it's still news.
Right.
You
Almost a
know,
month ago, if not a month ago.
absolutely,
Yeah.
and it's still major news to the day. You know
But the
what's
thing about that is because it was a time and the place. The timing was off. The place where he did this was off. It just showed a huge lack of respect for comedians in general, in my opinion.
Yeah, it put a comedian in a position like, can I tell this joke? This is what I do. I tell jokes. What jokes can I tell? What jokes can I tell, man?
That's right.
Am I gonna get slapped if I tell that joke? So can I not talk about different people now?
Yeah, exactly. We have
And, and,
someone from the
and
audience who says, Will was straight up wrong. I would have handled it. I would have handled him backstage or back in the background. I like Shannon Sharp. He's absolutely right. I will bless him with these.
absolutely, absolutely.
Oh, he said Jada is toxic. And who's to say, man? Will is probably equally toxic. But one thing about Will, I can say, he keeps his mouth closed.
Well, it's not what you do, it's how you do it, they say.
Right.
And that was done very distasteful and sloppy.
Yeah. You think about it, this man, 30 years in the game, right? Or more, probably. And that one moment, that one iconic moment for him to finally receive a sufficient award for the level of work. And I just feel like he just threw it in the trash can, literally. All
Yeah,
over behind emotions. Can we talk about that? Can we talk about the emotions behind that situation?
it definitely was a lot of emotions. And like I said, I believe he's been suppressing his feelings and emotions for quite some time. And he couldn't control it. He was like a time bomb. He reacted. There's a lot of men like that. You know, they deal with a lot of different trauma issues and they suppress it. They put a mask on every day and move about society.
Right,
So sometimes we really don't know who we sitting next to if we get on a bus. If somebody say the wrong thing, he might just go off.
right.
And this is what we dealing. We in a society where we look at the news every day and be like, oh, some crazy people out there. It's a lot of people under a lot of stressful situations, and they need to get some help.
That's true. Like, and that really speaks. Just this one situation that we're talking about with Will Smith speaks to the mental health issues that we have that are not being addressed. We're not even paying attention to that part. We're literally a society that's constantly on go, and we're not thinking about our mental wellness. And that's key. That's key to any kind of relationship, whether it's family, whether it's a marriage, whether it's even work. The relationships between yourself and your coworkers, everything around you is going to be affected if you're not addressing your mental health issues that may have happened in childhood even, and you never got it looked at. You never went and saw a therapist. You never took time to just literally stop, right?
Right.
And understand who you are.
Well, what's happening in society is, for us, our government level of officials, is something that they don't want to talk about. Because when you talk about it now, you have to talk about funds for it, and they don't want to fund it anymore. They're tired of funding it, so they just like, we'll just send them out there and let them run wild. And when they do something, we'll lock them up, put them in jail. But now that's a whole nother problem, because you have somebody with a mental condition with somebody with a crime, a true crime.
Right. It's crazy. I
I'm
just,
like,
man, I not to drag the whole Will Smith Jada Pinkett situation out, but man, it's just they're so iconic and legendary in film, in Hollywood in general. They both come from low income, poverty stricken areas, and they made it. So they really are a staple of opportunity in a lot of people's eyes. My generation, the generation before, and even after. So when you see a person like Will Smith behaving in the manner, it doesn't matter what was said about your wife. There's other ways that you could have protected her without becoming physical. And I think that's the part that a lot of people are missing here. That you are on a global platform. People in Australia were dishing out this news. How I found out about it was through a news alert. I didn't watch the
wow,
Oscars, by the way. I never watched the
no,
Oscars.
I don't. I have no need to watch it.
It was a news alert that popped up, and when I saw it, I immediately became embarrassed. I'm like saying to myself, why am I embarrassed for him? I don't even know him personally. But it was an embarrassment because here it is, this man of this stature is acting this way on a global streaming platform. Like, it blew my mind that have things gotten that bad with you at home in your relationship, and it has been untouched for so long. or maybe it's been touched but superficially, to the point where you snap because somebody made one joke, because you've been in the tabloids about the entanglement, you've been in the tabloids about your new book, you've been in the tabloids about your open marriage, all of which you guys decided to tell people about this. We didn't ask for that information.
We didn't ask for that information, and I believe, when you put your business out, you ask for trouble. When you open the doors to what's going on in your bedroom, you asking for trouble. That's nobody else's business.
Exactly.
If you and your husband are having marital problems, that's your business, because you two are the only ones in that relationship. So therefore, you two are the only ones that's going to have to work it out if you want to work it out.
And here's another thing, this is not to condone their behavior in an open marriage, but you do whatever you want to do, it's your business. But here's the reality, the business side of things. If you're gonna do stuff like that, you're gonna be bringing third parties into your relationship. You better learn what an NDA is, because that man went around with that clown hair. Y'all know who I'm talking about, August Alsina, talking it, just telling it all. And here's the thing, that's really what I think provoked Jada to go backdoor it and say, you know what, let me clean this up and let me just be honest about what happened. She
Well,
didn't have a choice.
absolutely, because the situation became a little messy. So
A lot messy.
therefore, she wanted to beat the bad press.
Yeah. And then hold on, I don't know if you looked at it like this, Baseem, but you got to remember this was her son's friend, right? So imagine if the tables turned and Will was doing what Jada was doing. I don't think people are looking at all of this in full scope.
No, we would be totally looking at it totally different. You would be looking at him as a pervert.
And even though people are gonna be like, "Oh, but he was 21." What's 21? Like you're still learning yourself. You don't know anything about
Absolutely.
anything. And the fact that when I watched the interview with August Alsina, he was talking about how he initially viewed her as a mother figure. This boy needed her, and
That's
she turned
that's
this
that's
into
deep right
something sexual.
there.
So let's just hey, call it what it is. So
Yeah,
moving on, because man, we
you
can talk
have
about
to.
that all day. Now,
Absolutely.
but we talked a little bit about Johnny Depp and we talked about Amber Heard. And I know you probably haven't really been keeping up with it, but I have. Because
Hmm.
here's the thing, for people who have been keeping up, you guys know that Amber Heard was saying that, hey, I've been abused by my husband. People started counseling Johnny Depp immediately without any evidence, right? Just pure speculation and her just coming out to the court saying, hey, this is what happened. Well, now that the trial is actually going in effect, this is Johnny Depp now suing Amber Heard for a $50 million defamation lawsuit. Now the receipts are coming out. So I've heard multitude of different audio where Amber Heard is just losing her mind, screaming, following him, chasing him, creating arguments, hurting him, right? So now it's clear as day who the abuser is. And everyone who has been brought in as an eyewitness to ask, have you ever seen any marks or bruises on this woman from domestic violence? They can't find anything.
Wow,
Do
that's
you
deep.
know how many people have been falsely accused of this?
So basically, now you're making us all feel as though maybe we got to walk around when our spouse get a little loud. I got to start recording in order to be safe.
Just to protect yourself.
That's what it sounds like. Like we're entering into Big Brother's world where we have to allow him all the way into our lives. We got to record everything.
Imagine now, Johnny Depp is a rich, wealthy, well-known white American male, not African, sorry, white American male. Imagine if this was a black man in
Oh,
the
he
world
going
that
to
we
jail.
live in.
He's probably in prison already.
They wouldn't
There's
even do a defamation trial.
there's so many of black men in prison due to the fact of assumption. You have no facts to go with it. It's just an assumption that he did X, Y, and Z. That's how the system treats us. We're unfairly targeted by the system. But that's a whole nother story. That's how riches are kept in this country. That's that pipeline, prison.
That's it. I was watching this video the other day, especially since we talking about the truth about life. And one of the members from Crazy Bone, I don't know if you ever listened to Bone Thugs and Harmony.
I
I don't know if
listened
it
to
wasn't
some of their
Crazy Bone.
music
I forget which one
back
it
in the
was.
day.
But he was talking about how the whole rap game like started to take a turn, and how they used it as a fuel to encourage people to do silly stuff to get them locked up. You know why? Because there's the security interest in prison. Everybody knows that now.
Absolutely.
But back then in the 90s, nobody knew. And they had to sign non-disclosures and everything about this. And it's just crazy how the setup is real. People always scream, conspiracy, or oh, you don't know, da 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 da. No, it really is it's a systematic game.
It is
And
because if we had more black success stories instead of prison stories, we would be having a different conversation because we would be moving in a different direction. We would have black fathers home with their children, and their children would more be doing things of excellent opposed to some of the things that's going on. Why do you think so many gangs are out there?
right.
Because there are no fathers. So
Yeah.
therefore, you have a lot of young guys taking on gang life opposed to going to school because he want to fit into somebody. He got somebody pretty much his peer trying to tell him, "Oh, this is cool. I got you." So you got the loss following the loss. And this is something we got to get back. Our men got to start getting together. We got to start doing some different things as men to protect our society.
And that's the thing.
Our
You just
women's supposed to feel safe.
you just hit it. Here's the main thing there with that. Like, okay, this is something that we're not tapping into as people. We had this conversation behind the scenes. We have to find leadership within ourselves. And before we even get to that step, as men and women actually, before we get to that step, we have to deal with any trauma that we encountered in our life, whether it's through our parents, whether it's through relationships, abuse, whatever your situation is. You have to tap into self first. You got to tap in. And once you tap into self, I mean, really understand the ugly naked you. Ugly meaning like the parts that people can't stand about you, the parts that you can't stand about yourself, uh, shady parts of you. Maybe you're jealous of people for silly reasons. Maybe you're just a shady person and trying to get over people and get an extra dollar. Maybe you're not loyal. Maybe you have no respect for your mother and father or the people in your family. Maybe you're a rapist. Maybe you're an abuser. I'm keeping it extra raw today because these are the parts of us that we have to tap into in order for us to become leaders from within. Because we talked about this behind the scenes, and you had mentioned something about the fact that our community especially is missing leadership. And my thing is, you have to be a leader from within first. We don't need anybody else to lead us. You have to have the capability and the tools to lead self. So that way, when we unify, it's gonna make sense.
Well, that's the only way we're gonna get back our greatness is to strip ourselves down and reinvent ourselves. I call it hitting our reset button. We have to know when to hit the reset button. And a lot of us run through life all the time and we get stuck.
Yep.
When you get stuck, you got to hit the reset button. If you was playing a game and the game got stuck, what you gonna do? You're gonna hit the reset button. Mm-hmm. You got to hit your reset button in life. If you want to move forward, you got to hit the reset button. If your relationship is not going well, hit the reset button. It's time to have this discussion. Look, this is not working out. What you want to do? Are we going to do something new? Or are we going to keep going down the same avenue? This is not for me.
Right.
And we got to not be afraid to let things go. That's one of our biggest problems in life. We hold on to everything. Yeah. We got so much baggage, we can't move. That's why we stuck. You got to let this baggage go. The baggage is holding you down. You can't keep talking about what happened to you 30 years ago. Oh, you ate my cookies. Eat your cookies. Either you're going to forgive me or you're not going to forgive me.
Exactly. And as it relates to relationships, what I hear time and time again is the fact that they've been cheated on, they've been lied to, money has been stolen. This is the same narrative that I get constantly. And the question that we have to start asking ourselves is, why do you keep choosing these people? You're unconsciously aware of it, but it's something about these type of people that attracts you. So that's why I said you have to look from within and figure out what is it.
Well, majority of people have a type. You have a certain, even when you're in a new relationship, you always hear people, oh, he remind me of the last guy. Because most of us have a type. And the only way to move forward, sometimes you gotta step outside of your comfort zone and go into another direction. Everybody want the thug guy at one time, and you keep going for that thug guy. Oh, I like him a little rough around the edges. You keep getting the same result.
Exactly.
Maybe you want to go see that guy that they say is a nerd. He might be the one that's going to take you where you need to go to and treat you how you need to be treated.
That's right. You're talking the facts right there. You know, and that's the thing. We have to look within ourselves and find out what that pattern is. Why does that pattern exist? And like you said, Baseem, very good gem you dropped is we have to learn to let things go. And that's one thing that a lot of us have a hard time coping with. It's not easy to let go of real trauma. Let's just say you're a 13-year-old girl, you got raped by a boy who you kept saying no to, right? He pushed
Mm-hmm.
himself on you and he raped you, and nobody in your family believed it because you're known in the family as a liar. That's trauma on top of trauma on top of trauma. And that's going to require a person to get therapy. That's going to require a person to learn how to forgive themselves so that they can forgive the person who raped them. You see what I'm saying? But
Absolutely.
that's easier said than done.
You sometimes you have to apologize to yourself before you can be open to suggestions of you moving forward. If you don't apologize to yourself and tell yourself it's okay, you're gonna be stuck.
That's right. Now Miranda says, I didn't have true friendship and happiness until I stopped looking for my type. Boom. She gets it.
Absolutely.
Now don't hold on. That's a dangerous territory too, though. Because just because you're not looking for your type doesn't mean that you still want to attract garbage. Y'all hear me,
Right.
ladies? Because that's facts. You
And
can still
sometimes
attract garbage that's not even your type. Okay? So you don't want that either.
we gotta stop looking and we gotta start letting faith bring us together.
There you go. That's it. And let me sprinkle a little something on top of that too. Because sometimes in the beginning it may not look like, oh, this is not the person for me. Like, oh, I don't like the way they have sex. Oh, I don't like the way they breath smell. Oh, I don't like this. We find little things to pick at. But guess what? The universe is trying to show you something the whole time and you may have missed it. Maybe they brought you together because they're trying to teach you how to slow down. Maybe you're the type of person that partied all the time. And maybe the universe knew if you kept on partying, that was going to lead to a drug addiction. That drug addiction was going to lead to you losing your job. You losing your job was going to make you lose your house. And then it's a domino effect. Or on the flip side, maybe you not getting with that person takes you to somebody who's hella abusive. Who knows? I mean, it's so many endless possibilities. So when you find somebody who is equally yoked to you, try to work with that in the
Well,
beginning. Give yourself a time frame.
it's all about an investment. We have to invest in what we want. We have to invest in what's good for us. If he don't know how to dress, show him how to dress.
There you go.
If he don't know how to please you sexually, tell him,
Show
look,
him.
no, that's not what I like. I like when you do it like this. This is what
That's
I
right.
like. It's all about showing people what you like. It's called communication. And the
Communication.
biggest thing is in our society, we have a lack of communication.
Big time. And I gotta
Mhm.
but seem respectfully because you're a black man, but I have to dig into our black men. Our black men are notorious for not communicating. Our black women are notorious for getting upset and not communicating. We have to stop that on both ends.
Absolutely, we have to stop it on both ends, and technology has set us back as well for us communication. Because if you send me a text message, sometimes I gotta decipher what you're talking about because it was very incomplete. And then you can be like, well, you ain't know what I was talking. Now you want me to be a mind reader. I'm not a mind reader.
Right. Yeah,
Sometimes if you don't know how to text or send an email and you be thorough with it, pick up the phone and tell me exactly what you want and what you need me to do, so I have a proper understanding.
that's right. I totally agree with that. We talk about this a lot. Been talking about this ever since I started this show is self-love, self-care, communicating. At the same time, when I just to piggyback on what I said about getting with someone that's equally yoked, don't stay in a relationship too long if you know you're not getting what you need from it either. I mean, if I'm not getting what I need, I'm out. I'm like Shark Tank. I'm not staying around in a situation that applies to my job. It applies to my marriage. It applies to my friends. Anything anything that's not serving me the way I'm serving them, if it's not reciprocating, I don't want any parts of it.
Well, if you don't, most people have a problem figuring out what their purpose is. So when you don't know your purpose, you tend to go for anything.
That's it.
You don't know where
You
you're
don't stand for
supposed to
something,
be.
you fall for anything. That's right. That's absolutely right. And you know, another thing I noticed that we got to stop doing in life, when people start finding out who they are, understanding their real worth, stop making them feel bad for that. Let those people glow and grow.
Well, that goes to the syndrome of, we afraid to see other people succeed because we jealous because it's not us. And the more we continue to look at other people strive, we try to copy them and mimic them, but it's not for us. We have to understand what's for you is going to be for you.
That's right.
It's not for nobody else. But if you don't know who you are, you'll never figure out what's for you.
Come on. Preaching now. And a member of the audience says, never be afraid to leave a friendship or relationship. People are here for a season and for a reason.
That's
And
a
for a
fact.
reason.
That's a fact.
Yeah. All facts. For those who just tuned in, we're talking about the truth about life. We've honed in. We talked about these celebrities. Listen, a lot of people look at celebrities like they're superhuman. These people are just like us with a lot more money. That's it. And more money, more problems. You know what I mean? Like, depending on who you picking, you have to be extra careful when you have a lot to offer, and and you're in the public's eye. And we also talked about so many other things that are aspects that are plaguing our community, in particularly the lack of communication, not knowing yourself, who you really are. All this is important, for you to make better decisions in your life, for you to have healthy boundaries and healthy relationships.
How often do most people communicate with themselves? Not often. So if you're not communicating with yourself, you'll never get to know yourself.
Right.
You have to take time out and spend some time with yourself in order to understand yourself. You talking about you can't stand other people. Sometimes you can't stand yourself.
There you go.
So you have to start pulling back them layers and start figuring out, what do I like? What's my favorite color?
Right.
What's my favorite drink?
That's right. I
And
did that with myself a few years ago. It was the
mhm,
best thing that I could have done. And I really initially thought it was silly, because I'm like, well, I should know some of this stuff. But you change over time. And if you're
absolutely.
not careful, you go through life just assuming that you know you, and you really don't until you stop and think and start asking yourself these questions. So I really like the fact that you said that, because that's something I've actually done, Basim. And
Well,
when you know who you are, you can move with strength and guidance in your purpose, because you know who you are. And I want to go back to what you said about you saying a lot of people don't like other people, or they're just angry with the world. I used to find myself running into people like that all the time. And I would think that I'm blissfully happy and ignorant. And it wasn't that. It's just that I actually take out time with myself. And I
mhm,
also don't surround myself around energy that I don't mix with. If you're not a
right.
positive, uplifting individual, I'm not going to waste my time being around you, respectfully. That especially goes for relationships. If this man is not bringing to me what I'm bringing to him, there's no chance here. What are we doing?
Well, that's one of the bigger problems of our society today. I have to be honest. There are a lot of women. She pull up to the table and she controlling the table, and some of my brothers is not coming to the table with what they need to come to the table with.
Come on.
You know, a man is supposed to be responsible for the house. Her job is to make it a home. We all have a role, and everybody say, "Oh, that's old fashioned, old fashioned." No, that's reality. When we were created to do certain things. The creator of the heavens and earth, he told man, this is your role in life. He told the woman, this is your role in life. And we have gotten so far away from where we're supposed to be.
Oh my gosh, we
That's
have.
why we're having so many problems. Women have taken on a role of men. So in that role, in that capacity, she feel like, I don't need a man. And when I do need him, I call him up and use him and I send him on.
I gotta laugh because that is the absolute truth. Here's the thing. In addition to that, because women have had to step up to the plate, some women are opening up their own businesses now. They're working 2 or 3 jobs. They're getting it in. I'm seeing more of a masculine energy in the women, and I'm seeing more of a feminine energy in our men. Have you been
Absolutely.
seeing the same thing?
Yeah, well, that's the new society. I'm gonna stay home. I'm gonna be Mr. Mom. Me myself, I'm an alpha male all day. I'm gonna go get mine, and I can't see sitting home raising the kids while she out getting that money.
Right.
And I got to be like, oh, well, love, can I take the car? Can No, I'm a man all day. I'm gonna provide. I'm gonna make it happen, and that's what's wrong. A lot of our young men have been raised. That's why they soft, and they don't know. They go from their mama's breast to their girlfriend's breast because there was that male role model wasn't there to let this young man know the responsibility of being a man.
But when we bring that up, men get so sensitive and so upset. When you tell the truth about your observation, it's like, but this is what I'm seeing. Like, I'm seeing that women are becoming more aggressive. That's because they have a lot more to worry about and to deal with. And some of these men, because they don't have any father figures or role models around them to show them and shape them into the person that they were supposed to be, they take on this feminine energy where some of them are feeling like, well, I shouldn't have to work, or they're having a mindset of, well, they don't know how to handle you. That's where I'm going with that, because there's so many different narratives I could put out today.
Well, that's when you become the angry black woman because he can't handle the energy that you're putting out. You know, we have to get back to the basics. We all in the matrix right now. We got to get back to the basics. That's just like reading. We all can read, but can you comprehend what you read?
Yeah,
Lack of comprehending, lack of understanding. See, because once you comprehend, you can now put it into action.
absolutely.
And we dealing with a lot of less action going on right now.
And we also need to refocus our energy. I think we get so tied up in crap. Literally, there's no better word for it. We get tied up in crap. And then once we lift our head up from viewing, listening, and reacting to the crap that we've been consumed by, we look up and nothing's done. You know, we don't have what we desire. Our life is not shaping out the way we planned it to shape out. All these different things, right? But we're not even remembering that we're not utilizing our energy to our best benefit. A lot of us need energy management, and we don't even realize that.
You can call it energy management, you can call it time management. You know, we spend so much time on a phone. You look up, you've been on your phone about 3 hours. So, oh, my battery just ran out. We have to get back to actually making time count, doing something in construction. You can't build a business or have a business if you ain't willing to put that work in.
Period.
And if you're gonna put the work in on your phone, you taking away from your business.
All day.
So we have to stop running around here procrastinating. I call it procrastinating. And we got to make our time count. Sometimes you got to go to that Google Calendar and start filling it in and
Yeah,
stick to it.
that's right. Man, you dropped some real gems today, man. I thank you for coming on the show today. We could talk about this for hours, really. I definitely have to have you back on the show.
Definitely, definitely.
Definitely have to have you back. Now, guys, for those of you who are just now tuning in, make sure you like, comment, and share this video. Look down below. You're going to see his website streaming across. Make sure you book a session with him. He is a licensed certified life coach. So make sure you reach out to him and book with him today. Again, I want to thank you, Baseem, and let them know where they can follow you on social media.
You can follow me at Baseem Aziz on Facebook, Instagram. Hit me up. Hit me up. If you thought this was helpful, just leave a comment. Helpful.
Definitely appreciate you, man. And guys, don't go anywhere. I'm gonna remove Baseem from the stream. Make sure you check him out. It's going to be streaming across. Baseem, thank you. Wait for me behind stage. I'm on
Definitely
the
will.
phone. Guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning in to the Sisters Talk podcast. You know, we always drop gems on this show. We're always trying to uplift the consciousness of our community. But I definitely want to let you know what I've been up to because I've been super busy. I just want to talk a little bit about some of the projects that I'm working on. So right now I'm trying to wrap up Telling Bones. It's going to be a horror film. I'm excited about it. I just want to shout out 92 Kills Radio here in Houston, Texas. You guys have been supporting me abundantly, and I just couldn't thank you enough. To all the actors and actresses who have been doing their thing. Shout out to comedian Sherelle. She's over here touring the United States, so I'm just so excited for her, so happy for her, and can't wait to see her glow up because she's on her way already. So anyone who would like to gain more experience with filming, we do have filmers. We have a team now, but I would like more. More is better. Definitely reach out to me. I'll be putting my number in the chat below. And also just letting you guys know this is where you can find the new film. You can go to sisterstalk.org/tailbones, TALBONES. If you like this video, make sure you like, comment, and share. And as always, I want to thank you for tuning in to the Sisters Talk podcast. I'll actually be back on this month on the 15th. I'm going to have Miss Tanya Miller. She is many things. She's an author. She's an entrepreneur. She's an awesome woman. And I'm looking forward to interviewing her on the 15th. So you guys have a blessed Sunday, and I'll see you next time. Bye.